Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about the importance of shoulder health and things that we can do as lifters over about the age of 30 if you want to maintain shoulder health, because it's something that becomes extremely critical the longer you've been lifting. And you guys will notice some of the regulars in my comments, and a lot of them use their real names. Some of these guys have been 500 plus pound bench pressers. Several of my regular guys who post and stuff, if you go look them up when they post, they're going to come in and say, preach, preach. Like Austin Slater's a perfect example. So, when we're talking about shoulder health like this, what we're talking about is the exercises we do and the execution of them. And what you see is that you see a lot of younger guys who are completely unaware of the things that will tend to tweak our shoulders as older lifters, and they're oblivious. And you see it in the comments. For example, when I've done dips and I stop at parallel, I have a regular poser who's like, you're being lazy. You need to go all the way down, do super deep dips. And then all of the middle-aged lifters are coming in telling him he's an idiot. And he doesn't understand why, because in his mind, he does that with no problems at all. This is a zero issue, and until it becomes an issue. And one day it will. This young man, just like all the other people who do stuff like that, who overextend the shoulder joint on a movement like that, 10 years from now, they're going to be done lifting. That's it. They're not going to be training their upper body. They might be able to squat and deadlift, but they're not going to bench or overhead press or do a dip or anything like that. It'd be over for them. And there's a pretty good chance of that. And so that's exactly what we talk about, is understanding where your ranges of motion are on your shoulders. And this is something that as we get older, we have to pay attention to. Probably about 30 plus. That's usually your main thing. And what do I mean for taking care of your shoulders? We'll get into all these specialty bars in a minute. Specialty bars are shoulder savers. Many of them are developed for that purpose. Such as the football bar down there was made for football players for that purpose. Okay, specifically because they're prone to shoulder injuries out on the playing field, and this helps work around them. But looking at things like your range of motion, as you start to get older, you don't want to go deep on a dip. You don't want to go below parallel on a dip. It's not a good idea. You want to start avoiding counter-indicated exercises. I think the behind the neck press is a perfectly great exercise. As far as strength and muscular development goes, I think it's awesome. In fact, we talk about just straight brute strength behind the neck push press. Awesome. You start getting older, you don't want to be doing behind the neck presses. Not a good idea. You want to do stuff like upright rows that are counter-indicated. Okay? Save that stuff for the younger kids, and there's nothing wrong with them doing it if they have healthy shoulders and they don't have pain and they want to do those things. Hey, that's fine. Be very careful about the way that you do lateral raises. I recently found that out myself. Even trying to follow the rules as a 43-year-old lifter, they started tweaking my shoulders. Even when trying to follow the rules, because as soon as I did something I thought was close enough, that's it. Started getting shoulder pain from them. Had to drop them. Going to have to be creative in this stuff and avoid certain things. Same things with bench pressing. Don't do rep work with wide grip bench. I'm going to say for most people, if you're going to be doing more than singles, don't go beyond medium grip. Keep your pinkies inside the rings. Save the wide grip for your max work, and even then, only if you're trying to build a 1 rep max bench. It's simply not worth it to you. Okay, it is just not worth it to you to do these things. In other words, don't be doing any exercises behind the neck. Don't do upright rows. Don't put anything that causes internal rotation to your shoulder. If you're going to do any benching or dumbbell presses, and all of us are going to be doing those things, you need to learn to avoid internal rotation of the shoulder. It means the bar needs to be below the nipple. Same thing with your dumbbells. You don't ever do dumbbells at 90 degrees from your body. Okay, you don't flare those pinkies out. You need to turn them in to where your hands are at 45 degrees, your elbows are at 45 degrees, and you come to the lower chest. It forms a triangle, right, where the dumbbells pretty much form a triangle, not a straight line across your upper chest. They form a triangle with the dumbbells pointed at your face, with your face being the peak, right? That's what you want, 45 degrees. You avoid internal rotation of the shoulder. Everything's low down on the chest. It's like when you guys watch my incline benching up here in a minute, coming down low with elbow tuck. You don't ever flare your elbows. You need to drop stuff like dumbbell overhead presses where you have them turned out to the sides. Also, if you're going to use dumbbells instead of a barbell, you need to turn those elbows in. Okay. Now, this is also where specialty bars come in. You guys notice most of, not all of, pretty good chunk of my supplemental work, my floor press, my incline, sometimes overhead, use a football bar. Why? Turns the elbows in. Changes the angles on the shoulder joint. These are shoulder savers. The football bar, for example, was developed for football players to help with them still be able to press heavy with shoulder injuries from playing on the field. It's very easy on your shoulder joints if you use them correctly. Notice I tuck. Notice I keep it low on the chest, even on the incline, and it works the heck out of my upper chest. Like lights my upper chest up. Everything is done with scapular retraction and pulled in tight. You're never loose. What other specialty bars? Buffalo bar. I do all my squatting with a buffalo bar. Why? It's easier on the shoulders. I don't squat low bar. High bar is easier on your shoulders. And quite honestly, if you're getting a lot more out of your low bar versus your high bar squat, it might be time to reassess your foot stance. Because a lot of times you'll see people are like, well, I squat more low bar, but they don't do the same squat. Meaning the bar isn't the only thing that they've changed. Their hip angle's changed, their foot position has changed. And they think it's the bar placement giving them the extra strength. It's like, no, man, you've got a wider stance. You're being more hip dominant. That is not caused by the bar placement and the back angle. That's caused by your foot placement. Okay. So the buffalo bar and high bar, I can pull my shoulders in super tight, can ratchet in, get extremely tight up top, way tighter than on a low bar for me. It doesn't cause shoulder irritation, but the buffalo bar helps. People who want to get quite a bit of squat volume in can use a safety squat bar. It's the same thing. Safety squat bar is actually something a lot of lifters use when they have an injury. Like if they've torn a bicep or a tricep or they're in a cast. Right? See them squat with a safety squat bar. Because it works. No stress on the shoulder. But the buffalo bar largely alleviates that too. The difference is the buffalo bar you can lift just as much weight. The buffalo bar has full carryover to a meet legal type back squat. In other words, you're not going to see any difference. If you squat 500 with a buffalo bar, you're going to squat 500 with an Olympic bar. Okay? It's a big deal. So a lot of these specialty bars are shoulder savers. Now I will say the buffalo bar, don't bench with it if you have shoulder issues or you're getting older. Right? Same reason we don't want to go too low on dips. Buffalo bar can create extra range of motion. Put stress on the shoulder. You got to be careful of it, especially with a wider grip. It can be problematic. But a lot of these specialty bars, they are designed for that purpose. Also need to take care of our shoulders. Face pulls. You guys see me doing face pulls here. In fact, I'm doing them quite a bit on camera at this point. Probably still will be by the time this comes out. Becoming a higher priority for me. I need more rear delt. I need more shoulder health. So I'm not doing the lateral raises. I really need something else that works the full shoulder besides just overhead pressing. And come over to that same point and learn to overhead press with different bars. And that's the thing. Most of you guys, when you're past 30, you're pretty financially secure. You've got a sizable income usually. You can usually build a home gym. You can afford to go to a gym that has the equipment that you want. Okay? A lot of these problems we run into for equipment, these are for younger guys. They're not as financially established. They're in college. The majority of guys who are over 30, who are listening, they're going to be able to afford this stuff more. In fact, I mean, a perfect example, Jason Robson, it's up my age, he's in his 40s. Actually, I think he's a few years older than me. Strong dude, right? He comments here all the time. He's built a home gym with a lot of this stuff and admits he's like working class. He doesn't make a lot of money. Like, he struggles financially. He still managed to accumulate this stuff in a home gym. He's got a lot of that equipment. You know? And he's still squatting well past 500 pounds at like age 46, 47. Okay? Longevity. A lot of these specialty bars matter. As you get older, they become more and more important. So in other words, avoid counterindicated exercises. Do your face pulls. Learn to use specialty bars. Use equipment and movement patterns that are easier on your shoulders. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.